Ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, demons. Do they exist? Is there life after life? Are there unseen entities around us? Can they communicate? Do you believe? What happens in the shadows doesn't always stay in the shadows. Live from Northwest Georgia, covering the region and beyond, this is Georgia Paranormal Radio. And now, here's your host, Mike Watkins.
And hello, welcome to another edition of Georgia Paranormal Radio. I am your host, Mike Watkins, and tonight we're going to be talking about a couple of interesting subjects, as well as some things that are going on here in Northwest Georgia and the paranormal community in general. Now first, I want to thank everybody for sending in their feedback to me. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, but that's okay, it's feedback, and that's what I was interested in. And I'm going to try and correct the little things that seem to irritate some folks, and I'm going to try to keep doing the things that seem to please folks, and hopefully we can strike a good happy medium there somewhere. I want to apologize for sounding like I'm in a tin can right now. I'm having to use a backup microphone. Hopefully I can clear that up in the post-edit session for this program, but if I can't, that's why I'm on a backup microphone. My standard $45 microphone and headphone set is what was causing that annoying pop that some people were hearing, well, everybody was hearing, in the last program, and it was due to the hinges on the earphones. Every time I moved my head, the deadgum headphone would pop, and the microphone, being part of the headphone, would pick it up very loudly, and there was no way to get around it. So right now I'm using a backup microphone until I find a better option. So just excuse the sound quality if it's kind of poor. Like I said, I'll try to correct that in the post-edit here, and perhaps you won't even be able to tell the difference. Anyway, it'll stop the annoying popping sound. And coming with feedback, I'd like to correct myself here on just one little thing. Last week I had mentioned in the show about Ron Gregory and the group from GPI and SES FPR going to the old Floyd County Prison. And I hate to ever say that I didn't check my facts completely, but I didn't. I went by what was in the newspaper, and Ron was kind enough to get in touch with me, and he heard the podcast, and thank you for listening, Ron. And he let me know just to straighten out a few things here, and I love straightening things out. When I'm wrong, and we'll straighten them out. And it says that he just wanted to clear a few things up, that their group was started as SES FPR, and one of the guys is now living in Tennessee and has started the Spirit Group. So they decided to change the group's name to GPI. And they're going to make SES FPR an umbrella type of organization for smaller groups to interact with and share resources, investigations, experience, etc. So Ron, I appreciate you contacting me and straightening that up for me. I learned a lesson to always double check and not necessarily rely on mainstream media for my information, because sometimes they don't include every fact. And I appreciate you contacting me, Ron. I appreciate you listening. And along those same lines, I appreciate you and Dan for inviting myself and one other member down this weekend. We'd talked about the old Floyd County Prison down there and the experiences that Ron and Dan and their group had, and I threw out a nice little wishful thinking hint that if they ever needed any backup manpower, to just give us a shout. And they were kind enough to invite two of us down. And so probably the program next week will be dealing a lot with what we experienced down there. I'm very excited about it. But these are a good group of folks, and I've talked to Ron and Dan via email several times over the last week, and they seem like a good group of folks. They really seem to know what they're doing, very friendly, and they're very much into the paranormal community. We need to be a community in this, folks. We can't be out here, being cowboys out doing our own thing. We really need to work together in this line of work, because there's enough ghosts for us all, folks. There's enough out there for everybody to discover, and everybody to not become territorial and selfish. There's enough out there for us all to do. So that's my feedback report of the week. And Ron, I thank you for getting in touch with me. I look forward to meeting you and Dan and the rest of your folks Saturday. And I tell you, I was giddy as a schoolgirl. Giddy as a schoolgirl. I really appreciate the invite, my friend. And all right. Now, that being said, we're going to move on to another topic. Everybody knows that yesterday, I'm recording this on the 12th of September, and yesterday was September the 11th. And 2001, everybody knows what happened. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 5 years, you know what happened. And I wrote a little piece on the message board about it, and you can read it there. But I'm gonna share some of it here because it's my airtime and I can. And it's titled on the message board September the 11th, 5 years later. And it has been hard. It's hard to believe. Pardon me. It's hard to believe that it's been 5 years since that terrible day back in 2001. I remember well the feelings that I had that day and following days as the powers that be were trying to get a handle on the situation. I remember the chill that ran down my spine when my pager, I was a fireman at the time, and my pager went off early that morning, alerting to a Georgia and national state of emergency. I remember the fear and confusion that most of us Americans felt. I remember wanting to do anything in the world to be there and to help and to try to make this go away. I remember thinking for the first time we really were a national community, and that deep down, no matter what cultural or political differences we had, we were all still a family. I remember the outpouring of support from the international community, with manpower and equipment assistance offers, or just a few kind words to try to help soothe our wounds and let us know that we're not alone, and that someone remembers that we've been there for them in their time of need. And I remember how things used to be before that day, before so many lives were needlessly extinguished. I remember never thinking that something like that could happen to us. After all, we're America, the strongest and most powerful nation in the history of the world. And I remember the promise that we all made to ourselves to never forget those few, those brave few who laid down their lives in the service of mankind, attempting to save every last soul they could from certain disaster. I remember standing with my brothers and sisters in the public safety field a year after that day to memorialize the victims and, yes, heroes that went on to their fate that day. So on September the 11th, 2006, 5 years after September the 11th, 2001, I remember. And hopefully you've remembered too. And just reflected in your heart about what things used to be like and what the events of that day meant to you. And moving on to more paranormal natured news, I was reading some past issues of Fate magazine. It can be found on the World Wide Web, the internet, at www.fatemag.com. That's FATEMAG.com. And there's an article on there by Patty Wilson talking about the spirits of Flight 93. And now Flight 93 was the plane that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, I believe it was. And but they're talking about that crash area is terribly haunted, and the security people there that have been guarding that location have filed report after report about strange occurrences. If you get a chance, go over and take a look at the article. It's again, it's www.fatemag.com. That's all one word. It's a pretty interesting article. And with that being said, we're going to take just a minute of a break here to hear from one of our good sponsors, which is the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team. If you need a paranormal investigation, or if you're interested in getting involved in paranormal investigations, give us a call. And you'll hear all about that on the good commercial there, and I'll see you on the other side of the break.
Do you have strange feelings while in your home or business? Do you hear unexplained noises or see something moving out of the corner of your eye, only to investigate and find nothing? Does your home or business have a history of paranormal or unexplained events? If you answered yes to any of these questions, the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team is ready to assist you. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team is a well-established and respected scientific paranormal research group. They adhere to strict non-metaphysical protocols to ensure that all evidence collected is valid and of the highest quality. Trust an established team to research and document your paranormal activity, then educate and empower you, the living. For more information, membership inquiries, or to request an investigation, visit us online at www.nwgapit.com or contact Mike Watkins at mike@nwgapit.com. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team. We investigate what you fear.
And welcome back from the break. Folks, you don't know how much I appreciate you sticking with me through that break. It's you were only gone for about a minute listening to that advertisement, but the beauties of recorded radio, folks. I was able to go make a cup of coffee and drink half of it and then rummage through the shelf for some books. So, if I have a tickle in my throat, it's just know that I'm smiling because you were gone for a minute and I was gone for about 10. So we're back from the break, and we're going to cover a little bit of local news going on here on the cover of the Walker County Messenger today. They're advertising that the Civil War is coming to Chickamauga, that the town will celebrate War Between the States Day on Saturday. Now, folks, if you've never been to one of these events, it is an amazing thing. It is like taking a step back in time. This weekend and next week mark the anniversary for the Battle of Chickamauga. Forgot where I was for a minute. And but this marks the anniversary of that battle. And they're doing some living history aspects up there, showing you what life was like and reenacting some of the battles. And it ought to be pretty interesting. I've been to a couple of them in the past, and it's very interesting. It is really like taking a step back in time. If you go, just be prepared for a lot of noise and a lot of crowded people there, because it always draws a huge crowd, and you know they'll be firing some cannons and some rifles, folks. So it ought to be pretty interesting. If you get a chance to go, it is Saturday the 16th of September up in Chickamauga, and more information can be found out about this by going to the Walker County Messenger website at www.walkermessenger.com. And for those of you that are listening from kind of far away, Chickamauga, of course, is the site of one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War, and Chickamauga is probably 10-15 miles south of, I'd say probably 10 miles south of Chattanooga. It's really not that far away. There's some good freeways and highways to get you there. It's well worth a trip down. And it ought to be interesting this weekend. You never know, you might see a ghost mixed in with those living history folks there. It'd be kind of interesting. And we're going to talk about a little bit of group news right now. I had already mentioned before that we were going down, two of us were going down this weekend to an investigation. And I'll be reporting on that to you next week. But the website, if you haven't looked at our website here in the last day or two at www.nwgapit.com, you need to. I've done some pretty decent updates to it. I fixed a few errors that were plaguing the site, especially on the EVP page. It is a little slower to load now, but it will load correctly. And we've saved some space on there, and and patch some things together. The new alpha site that I had been talking about working on, using the PHP Nuke software that I was wanting to use, is just not practical for us. I mean, we're running 25 pages of content right now, and the time that it would take for me to convert it over, it would be a full-time job. Plus, I'd have to learn, how to use PHP Nuke and all that good stuff. So we're going to stick with what we got for right now, but I've made a few improvements here and there on this website. Some parts of it will load faster. The EVP page will actually load a little slower, but it will load correctly. And I went through it last night and couldn't find any errors. So I think it's working right. Let's hope. You never know with a website, but if you go in there and check, if you'll notice right on the front page of the website, we've got a little advertisement there for a book, and we are featured in Ghost Hunters of the South. It's the latest book by Alan Brown, and I have talked to Mr. Brown a few times via the phone and emails, and he interviewed me for this book. This book contains a lot of information about Southern ghost hunters. It's all about us, people in the South, and what makes us be ghost hunters. And Alan Brown, for those of you that are not familiar, he has several books out. I have 3 of them. Those are the aforementioned books that I was going through my bookcase for. But Stories from the Haunted South, Haunted Places in the American South, and Shadows in Cyprus, Southern Ghost Stories. Now, those are some good books, folks. I would highly recommend them to you. And what we're going to start doing, it's always been my intention to have a kind of a sales portal on our website. And by becoming affiliated with Amazon.com, who, other than eBay, Amazon has the cheapest prices on books anywhere. Unless you can find them, at a bookstore locally. Sometimes you'll get a great deal there. But, so I've affiliated ourselves with Amazon to sell a few books and a few little items online. There'll be a page created for that. Right now it's just going to be on the front page because, hey, we're in the book. That's pretty special. To me, it's the first book I've been in. Maybe not for you, but I'm pretty proud of that fact that our group is actually in this book. And right now it's in pre-order status. It actually hasn't been released yet. It'll be released on October the 1st. But, I'm recommending to everyone. I haven't even read it yet, but I am recommending it because Alan Brown is a great writer. He uses a lot of verbatim quotations in his book. He retells the stories exactly as they're told to him, and it adds some great character to the book, and you can really feel what the person is feeling. So I highly recommend it. And some of you may be asking, well, why are you putting it on the front page? Well, because I recommend it and because we're in it. And it's, that's an easy decision. We're in it. It's a good book. Got to be a good book. Every other book he's ever written is a good book. And the other thing is if you intend on ordering it, I would ask you to order it through our website. Now, by clicking on the book, you will be directed to Amazon.com. However, by clicking on the book from our website, we will get a commission from you ordering that book. And it's not a lot, 4 or 5%, but hey, that's 4 or 5%, that's 40, 50 cents here and there. So, enough people ordered that, and we've got some good income coming in. Plus, it's a great book, and I think everybody should have it. And I know I'm personally getting one autographed by him. That's coming to me, but anyway, if you want a good read next month on October the 1st, it'll be available. Ghost Hunters of the South by Alan Brown. Click on the link on our website, and you'll be able to go to it and order it. And also, here probably in the next few days, you'll be able to order all of Dr. Brown's other books also. So, just wanted to cover that with you, and something I'm proud of, and it's an accomplishment for us. And team uniforms, we're working on them. We've had some transitions here in the team. Some of you know what I'm talking about. We lost a couple of 3 members, and one had left us, I believe, to go to another group, and that's fine. I wish her the best of luck. Another one I removed simply because I didn't feel that this member was compatible with our group, and this person had made some statements to me and to some other people, and done some things while we were out on a training session that were frankly offensive and inappropriate, and I didn't appreciate it at all. And so we've had some fluctuations there, and I kind of put the shirts on the back burner for now. But here in the next, I'll be sending out an email probably in the next week or two to get everybody's sizes, and we're going to order from there. I've still got the sizes for several of you, the ones that were at the meeting in July, August. When did we meet? August. How time goes by. I've still got the sizes for those of you that were at the meeting then, and for the rest of you, I'll be sending out an email, and so just watch your mailbox there, and I should about have everybody's, and we'll go ahead and get them ordered and paid for, and get them in, and that way we can all look spiffy. We like people looking spiffy. And we're going to move on right now to get past that negative stuff here, and we'll end the negative with a positive there and say, yes, we are getting the uniforms. It doesn't matter how many people leave us or how many people we toss out on their ears. We're going to do fine. We're going to work well together, and we're going to play nice, and we're going to have a great time, folks. And that's the end of that. There's no other way but to do this and do it right and have fun doing it. Because if you're not having fun, you might as well just go and lock yourself in the closet. There is no point in you doing this if you're not having fun doing it. And we're going to have some training sessions coming up. That's some other local or good local team news. This week is the anniversary for the Chickamauga battlefield, folks. This is the battle anniversary. Unfortunately, everybody knows I was dealing with a low-level functionary there at the park. And if you'll excuse me while I take a sip of coffee here. Oh, coffee, it's a miracle thing, folks. Recorded radio, yet still unedited. You have to love it. Anyway, we were dealing with a low-level functionary there at the park. And basically, his disbelief and unwillingness to cooperate caused some time wasting there. I had given up hope on getting us into the park. By the time I found out that I could, it was too late. So next year, we're there. We're so there. We're spending the night on Snodgrass Hill. Write it in your calendar. We are spending the night, the next battle anniversary, on Snodgrass Hill. This year, however, we will be thrown out at dark. So I'm planning on going up there several nights and probably several mornings too, right after they open and right before they close, and just doing some investigating and some training sessions up there. It is the battle anniversary, and it's like it's going to be like Mecca for the ghost hunter. If you're not there, you're going to miss something special. I can feel it right now. Things are just right, and it's going to be special. And so any of y'all be watching your email boxes there, because I'm going to send out an email telling you what we're planning on doing. And heck, come on up. Most of y'all live up that way anyway. It's actually, you're probably closer to it than I am. So, an hour or two at night or morning or whatever you've got available, you want to come out, I'm going to be there. And even if you don't come out, I'm going to be there. So we're going to get some good evidence. Okay, right now we're going to take a quick little break, and we're going to hear from a good sponsor, which is this radio program. and soliciting advertisements. So just take a listen to the commercial break here, and I'll see you on the other side. In 2006, the number of people in the United States was an estimated 299 million, and approximately 205 million of those people were online. Now let's suppose that just 1% or 2 million of those people listen to internet radio or podcasts. Let's further suppose that just 1% of that 1% are interested in the paranormal and listen to this program. That would be 20,000 listeners or potential customers hearing about your product, service, or website on every broadcast. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team and Georgia Paranormal Radio are homegrown organizations with a regional and now worldwide footprint. Trust us to promote your product, service, or website just like it was our own. Your success is our success. With rates at only $5 a month, guaranteed exposure on every broadcast, and no long-term commitments if you aren't completely satisfied, you can't go wrong. Can you afford not to advertise with us? For further information, email Mike Watkins at mike@nwgapit.com. All right, we're back. Right now we're going to move on to a little bit of discussion here. I try to have a theme for each show, and or at least a rather poignant opinion for each show. And this week is no different. This show is rather unscripted. Last show was, I had bullet points flashing across the screen telling me what to say and when to move on to something, and this week I've just kind of ad-libbed it, so you could let me know which format you like better. Do you want me to work off a script, or do you want me to just be me? Not saying I'll listen to you, but, well, I'll listen to you. I might not do what you want me to do. But, anyway, this is ad-lib this week, but our topic that we're going to discuss this week, that is sure to raise some eyebrows and maybe get your blood boiling, I hope a little bit, is orbs. Now, I've got this pretty decent article on orb theory that's been posted on the website. Hardly nobody ever goes to it because it's down at the very bottom of the page and inside another page and all that good stuff, but I like writing articles every once in a while to give some views and opinions on some things and just the way I think about it, and you listeners are more than welcome to write an article. I'll gladly include it on our articles page. All you got to do is just write it out, 2 or 3 paragraphs or more. I don't want you to write a book, but because I'm going to have to read it and go through it and make sure there's nothing goofy in there. And by goofy, I mean profane or inappropriate, because we are a family-oriented website. And just kind of edit it out and make sure that there's nothing that shouldn't be in there. I'm not going to change your opinions or anything like that, but send me an article, and I'll edit it and clean it up for you and post it on the web for you. And give you credit for it. This is your website. I just maintain it and try to present the information as best I can that's on there. And we need some contributors for some articles. Maybe your specialty is EVP. Maybe your specialty is electromagnetics. Maybe your specialty is photography. Whatever your specialty is, whatever you have studied and you know more about, share that information with us, folks. That information is no good to anybody else if you just keep it in your head. So just share it with us. Write a short little article, just like an essay, and I'll post it right on here, and we can all enjoy your views and opinions and what you know to be fact. But this week I'm going to talk a little bit about orbs and orb theory. Orbs are probably the second most hotly debated issue in paranormal investigation. The first issue that is most highly debated is, of course, do ghosts exist? Well, I'm convinced they do. So, I'm beyond that argument. So, the next major argument is orbs. What in the world are orbs? Are they ghosts? Are they dust? Are they gases that the Earth is releasing? Are they ball lightning? I mean, there's 100 million possible answers for this. Now, I'll tell you at the end what I think, but we're just going to cover through this little article I've written here about orb theory. And, this debate has been going on for quite some time, and I don't even pretend to know the 100% true answer to these questions about what an orb is. Everybody has their own answer, but nobody really knows for sure. No true investigator can tell you with 100% certainty what an orb is. Now, I can tell you about these theories that we've discussed earlier. One theory about an orb is that it's just a plain and simple ghost. Now, that's probably the simplest theory, It may be the correct theory. Now, it'll probably keep you from going crazy trying to figure out what an orb is if you just say, oh, every orb I see is a ghost. You wouldn't go crazy doing that. You'll start going crazy when you start trying to say, well, that's not a ghost, what is it? So, I don't know whether that's correct or not. The next theory is that orbs are energy transfers. You say, well, what are they energy transfers from? Maybe the Earth is releasing built-up static electricity, like ball lightning or something. Maybe it's a spirit draining or transferring energy from equipment batteries and such to manifest itself. And that would explain the high EMF readings at alleged haunted sites. And we do know that orbs are generally round in shape. And the laws of physics state that energy transfers of this manner would assume the shape of a sphere, or be round. Yet another theory is that orbs are just dust. In many cases, this really is true, folks. I hate to burst your bubble, but it really is true. And it's especially in dry, dusty areas like the South. It's so easy to stir up dust just by walking or driving through an area. And this can usually be detected by the sheer number of orbs in one place. And usually dust orbs are kind of monochromatic. They're one color. And I've got a photo posted on the website that's a very good example of this. And there's countless other opinions as to what orbs are, or where they come from, or where they go. And I do know, I set them in two classes. There are true orbs, and there are orbs. And I do know that true orbs seem to only appear in areas with believed paranormal activity. Now, what's a true orb, you say? Well, a true orb often shows an intelligence, and it will follow you around. It'll follow commands sometimes from the investigators. We've had them follow us into different areas of sites. They change colors. Some even have facial features on it, which some will argue is matrixing. Some people won't. An orb often emits its own light source. And if something is reflecting back to your camera brighter than the flash on your camera, it could be a true orb, folks, a true ball of energy. Does that make that orb a ghost? Well, that's up to you. But I'll say this much. Orbs cannot be completely dismissed by any investigator. Paranormal means above normal or unknown. And orbs are definitely in that category. However, we cannot issue the haunted label just because of an orb in a photo. We must take orbs as only another part of the whole in our evidence. We have to apply the hard and fast rule of investigation to eliminate anything that can be naturally explained. In the words of Sherlock Holmes, if you eliminate the possible, then whatever remains, no matter how unlikely, must be the truth. And no matter what you believe an orb is, or where they come from, or where they go, this debate will always continue. And whew, what an interesting topic. Now, hopefully you'll shoot me some emails about that and say, Watkins, you're a nut. Or, Watkins, you're completely wrong. Or, amen, brother, you're completely right. Whatever you feel, shoot me some feedback. And like I said earlier, this show has kind of been unscripted. Last week's was not. I was a little nervous last week, and I loosened up there towards the end and kind of got off the script. But this week has had no script at all. Now, if you want me to go back to a script, let me know. You know, maybe unadulterated Watkins is too much for everybody. I don't know, because I am a little silly sometimes. But let me know what you think. You can email me at Mike, M-I-K-E, at nwgapit.com. And, or you can get us on the message boards. There's a new Georgia Paranormal Radio category on the message board, and you can leave some feedback about the show and what you think about it, some show ideas. If you'd like to be a guest on here, let me know. You know, I have no problem sharing this microphone with somebody else. And that will entail some longer shows, I'm sure, because, you know, I'm looking at the old recording meter here, and I'm crossing 35 minutes, folks. That's a long time for you to be listening to just me. So if you want to be a guest co-host on here, let me know. We'll talk about something. You know, everybody has something interesting to talk about. And we'll have a good time and have a little fun, and you get out there, and then people can say, hey, you're the other goober I heard on the radio. And how did he rope you into doing that? But we'll have some fun with it. And next week our show is going to be about the old Floyd County Prison and Big Red. That's, I guess that's the resident ghost down there. I'll go in with a little more reverence and respect than that, though. It's the coffee, folks, really it is. It's making me jittery and irreverent. But Big Red down there, the resident ghost. Hopefully we'll have an interesting time down there, and I'll have a whole show to talk to you about it. Next week, or the next week after that, for episode 4, it's going to be either one or two topics. I haven't really decided yet. It depends on if my special guest is ready by then. And I'd like to do a show about EVP. And that ought to be interesting, folks. So right now I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll send you to some outro music. And I thank you for joining us on Georgia Paranormal Radio, and I'll see you next week right here. Have a good night.